Hi guys, welcome back. Sometimes we don't realize that we're starting to gain weight until we take a look at some pictures or some videos that were just taken of us. Today's YouTuber is Crystal Nicole, and Crystal's going to be talking about being the fat friend, but the way she found out about it, kind of interesting. I think you'll enjoy this.
Pictures and things like that because it is important to have memories and to love yourself no matter what size you are. And for me, I tend to like not take photos if I'm overweight. It's like I don't want a memory of this. So we get downstairs and we start taking photos. Y'all, this photo right here led me into a spiral. It led me into a spiral because I saw that photo and I was like, bitch, you look 7 months pregnant. Like, you look pregnant. And there's this thing, and I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I don't know if you experience this, but when you're overweight and you don't let other people take your pictures normally, you know the perfect angle for your selfies and stuff. So you will be like, okay, I know the camera's gonna be up here. I know that I'm gonna like make sure that, I know my angles. I know what I'm getting. And also I never see my full body because I'm normally doing like a selfie. But when it's somebody else taking your photos, and especially somebody that is like a thin person taking your photos, they don't think about their angles as much typically. Because it's like they're not an Instagram influencer. They're not like, you know what I'm saying, a photographer. So they're not going to be thinking like, okay, I need to make sure that I make this person look skinny, because they're just used to naturally like hopping in front of the camera, feeling good and looking good. That is not the situation for me, you know, like I am very much like, oh, I need this specific angle. I need that specific angle. Well, my dear sweet friend Mildred, who has an amazing body, she gives body yaddy yaddy, she took the photos for me. And Mildred has a body where like she can hop in front of the camera at any angle and she's gonna look good, as far as like she's gonna look thin. And I know you're saying right now, like, well, why does thin equal good? We're trying to unpack that. I'm trying to work through that. Because for some reason in my mind, I equate sometimes my attractiveness with my size.
So that brings us to the first question of the day, folks. Do you feel the same? Do you feel like your attractiveness is directly related to your weight or your size? Please let me know down below.
And I know that's not right. I know it's like sick in the head, but it's the truth. And it's something that you have to unlearn because it's basically taught to us, you know, like name me one overweight or plus size Disney character that wasn't like the butt of the jokes, that wasn't like weird and creepy, that was a woman. Even more, name me one plus size Disney woman that wasn't a mom and like older. I can't think of one. Like since we're little, we're taught that part of the mission is to be thin and to look a certain way. And that's just the reality of it, you know, unfortunately. So that is the struggle that, you know, I'm trying to unlearn. Well, anyway, Mildred takes this picture, y'all. When I tell you, I start boo-hooing outside the hotel. I'm gonna insert footage of me crying outside the hotel because I looked at those photos and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I have gained so much weight. I am plus size and I had no idea. Like, why didn't nobody tell me that I am plus size? And it's like, girl, do you not see yourself? You know, like, I feel like I know I'm overweight, but seeing those photos, it just was a shift. So y'all, let me paint the picture. There's about 30 girls and guys at this bachelorette party. We're about to walk into dinner. I'm outside crying by myself, trying to make sure that, you know, you don't want to ruin your friend's moment. So I'm out here crying about it, boo-hooing on the side of the street. Mildred feels terrible because I think she knows at this point, like, oh, these photos made her feel bad about herself.
Have any of you guys ever had a situation where you like to take your picture from certain angles, like Crystal's talking about, and then maybe a friend or a family member at a party took your picture from a not so nice angle, and then maybe they put it up on social media? Did any of you guys ever have a situation like that where you ended up taking a look at yourself from that different angle, and maybe you had a shock of the day type situation? Let me know.
And Mildred feels terrible about it, but it's like, what can she do? Like, that's what I look like, you know? And so I come back inside after crying and recording a little video clip. And I'm like, okay, Mildred, let's try this again. Like, girl, I think you got my bad angle. Like, because I know I don't look like this. I think you kind of got the angle wrong. You know, that's what I'm telling her. And she's like, okay, no problem. Let's do it again. Like, you want to hold my purse so you could cover up your stomach? I'm going to serve pictures of that. Me holding the purse. Y'all, I hate those too. Then to add insult to injury, we get into the dinner. And of course, you know, my friend, it's important to take photos with her. It's her bachelorette party. So the different groups of friends that came, they all wanted to take photos, you know? So my group, we're called the Core Four. We get together and we take a photo. And y'all, I look at the photos. Terrible idea. Lesson number one of this video. If you're already feeling big, you take that photo and you don't look at that photo until the next day. But I look at this photo, y'all, and I feel like I'm like noticeably bigger than everybody in the photo. Like I'm giving designated fat friend. I'm giving DFF. Like I look so much bigger than everybody. And it's just like, I, of course, don't want to ruin my friend's event, so I go sit down at the very end of the table, and I'm like laughing, which I normally do, but I start like tearing up again. I'm like, oh my gosh. And you know when the tears are coming and you can't control them, you're like trying to suck them up, but they just keep falling? That is the energy I was giving. Like I was just boo-hooing. So I get it from the table, and I basically like run to the bathroom because I'm like, I cannot cry at this table. Like, I don't want to ruin my friend's moment. So I was like, no matter how I feel, I'm gonna get information and make sure she doesn't see me. Y'all, go to the bathroom. I start crying. I call my aunt on the phone and I'm like, no wonder I'm single. Nobody loves me because of my weight. Like, just being the true dramatic queen that I am.
So I'm glad that she said that last part. The reality is, wherever you are today, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're stuck there tomorrow. And we can take baby steps today that can make incredible improvements tomorrow. So with that being said, I believe that a daily walk can change your life and help you look a lot better and feel a lot better about yourself. So if you don't mind, go get your shoes. Guys, let's go for a walk. Whoa, I'm in the eye of the hurricane right now. I looked outside because it's in the afternoon right now, and the sky looks so bleak and dark. I just thought, ooh, maybe it'll rain. But on my phone, it just says kind of cloudy overheaded sky, or clouds overhead, nothing major. I wanted to talk to you guys today because I made a video earlier today, but it was a little boring, I thought. And I figured since I have a second walk to do here in the afternoon/evening, I figured I'd take the camera with me. I don't know if you guys heard, but 23-year-old San Francisco 49er rookie Ricky Pearsall was shot today because a 17-year-old where Ricky Pearsall is staying in San Francisco, where he was just drafted by the 49ers. A 17-year-old apparently wants to get a hold of his watch and went ahead and shot him in the chest trying to get it. And apparently some way, somehow during the scuffle, the perpetrator got shot in the chest as well. And could you imagine, you're a rookie, you're drafted, it's the happiest time of your life, and then all of a sudden you're dealing with this. That is crazy. You know, when I was younger, I used to think of San Francisco, and I just remember everybody I knew had told me that it was really nice and really expensive out there. And so to hear that they're having all these troubles, and you want to know the craziest thing, guys? You would think that this would have happened maybe at 11 or midnight, right? You know, in the late evening. It happened at 3:30 in the afternoon in front of everybody on a busy street. That really shows you where we're kind of headed in today's world. And to know that the perpetrator was a 17-year-old, that just seems wild. Apparently it was for Ricky's watch, so I don't know if he was wearing a Rolex or a Tag Heuer or what, but apparently he was wearing something expensive, and apparently the kid wanted it. So imagine being inches away from losing your life over a watch in a neighborhood where apparently crime has overridden everything. God, that is really sad. That's really, really something. As I was leaving the house, literally on the TV, they were talking about, I guess there's 10,000 hotel workers on strike this holiday weekend. Now, I don't know if this is one of those weekends where a lot of people travel much. I'd imagine some people do, but I'd imagine it's a lot better they went on strike now than, as opposed to like Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's, right? But still, it's kind of irritating. I feel like every time people go on strike nowadays, whoever they're going on strike against ends up relenting and giving in to their wishes. But then a couple of months later, you find out about mass layoffs, and then the prices go up for everybody. So you kind of end up feeling like, once again, it helps a handful of people. But if you end up getting laid off because of it, did it really help you at all? And I understand that people want to make more money. I'm just simply saying, it seems to always kick you in the butt one way or another. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but apparently on August 31st, so yesterday, apparently there was a horrific bus accident in a place called Bovina, Mississippi. It was off of the I-20. Apparently a left front tire went out on an autobus. And apparently you're not supposed to slam on your brakes, otherwise bad things can happen. Apparently you're just supposed to ride it through and slowly but surely get off the road. But apparently this bus driver, who they keep remarking that he was only 30, which, I don't know, that seems like a pretty mature age to me, but they were talking about it consistently, like when it comes to bus drivers, he might not have that much experience, apparently because he's only age 30. But apparently this bus accident was so horrific that 7 people died. 6 initially. The 7th one went to the hospital where he or she later died. But here was the crazy thing. On top of the fact that 7 people perished, 36 people were injured. So we're talking, when this bus made its crash that day, it was a horrific crash. Here's the crazy thing, between all the politics that are going on and this football player getting shot in the chest, I barely heard about this situation just a couple minutes ago. Did you guys hear about this? What are your thoughts on this? You figure with a bus accident that bad, it would be plastered over the news nonstop. But I literally just heard about it within the past 15 or 20 minutes. Whenever you put your hands in an airplane crew, right? Or in a bus crew, right? You're thinking that you're in really good hands. You're with a professional pilot or a professional captain of an airplane, right? Or a professional bus driver. You're thinking they really, really know what they're doing. And it's just kind of scary. You never know if that person whose safety is in, their hands, you never know if they're extremely unexperienced. God, I just heard a sound in the background that sounded like the Transformer movie, like some monster. I like to joke about aliens and stuff. This is the type of weather where aliens would come down, right? Where it's just windy as all heck, and it looks like it wants to rain, yet it's not raining. And then you see some lightning bolts, and then before you know it, the aliens are down here sucking out our brains. That would be crazy. Today, before my walk, I was messing around on Canva, trying to learn how to do some more fun things for the show. That's one thing about myself that I'm really kind of proud of. And maybe this is a quality you guys have too. When I dive into something, I really try to learn as much as I can. And one of the things that I'm dealing with lately is, can I get better? And I'm a firm believer that if you try your best, usually you can get better at things. I'm not used to endless wind. So earlier today I made a video like I normally do, but I was a little down. I don't know if I want to play videos for you where I'm kind of down, but basically, long story short, I wish that the channel would still get a lot more new walkers and stuff. I don't know if you guys remember, but about 3 or 4 months ago, it felt like every other day we would get a comment of somebody that would say, hey, I'm in, I'm putting my shoes on, let's go, right? And it just seems like nowadays, those walkers that are joining us and becoming venters just feels like they're few and far between. So that's one of those things where sometimes I feel like I'm letting you guys down. I wish I was a little bit more experienced, a little bit quicker. But like I said, today was one of those really good days. I felt like I was able to learn some more stuff on Canva, and hopefully I can make the show a little bit more appealing for people. Another thing that I was thinking about is one of the things with Walk, Talk, Vent is maybe I should take advantage of the vent a little bit more, but do it in a more fun, positive way. There's a lot more things to vent about other than just, being overweight or, who's robbing who. There's a lot of fun things that we could vent about. So I'm trying to think outside the box. And that's one of those things that I urge you guys to do. If you're in a plateau or a situation where you haven't lost weight recently, why not start thinking out of the box? Is there something that you could do? Is there a strategy that you haven't employed yet? Is there one way that you can be better today than you were yesterday? I constantly tell you the obvious stuff. It's obvious that you're drinking 3 or 4 sodas, you need to cut down to 1 or 2 and then ultimately 0, right? That's obvious. But sometimes thinking out of the box means literally coming up with something that's, not so obvious. And that's where I urge you to use your venter imaginations. See what you can do. Now, in the case of me, as you guys know, I like to do push-ups and I like to do leg lunges and I like to put on these bungee cords around my arms and punch the air like a boxer, because I feel like every little thing I do extra helps me get that little bit closer to my goal. At the same time, I want to do things more fun so that I can attract more venters to join us. So that's one of those things that I'm working on. And I hope that you guys stick around to see how I evolve. I think what happens when we go to different places, we kind of get used to where we are. Maybe on the depth chart at work, you're not in the top 5. Maybe you're 12th out of an office of 20 people. And maybe you want to crack the top 5 in importance. Well, how do you do that? Well, you got to think outside the box. You got to start thinking about, hey, where are areas where I can improve in my job? Where are areas that I can improve with my family members? How can I improve with my finances? And then ultimately what you'll do is you'll start to get some headwind in one of these areas that you're trying to improve in life. And guess what happens once you start to improve? All of a sudden you start to look at it like, hey, there's the first domino. And we all know how dominoes work. Once the first one goes down, the others tend to follow suit. So again, there's a ton of reasons why we should give up. And they're valid reasons. But none of them really make us feel better after the fact. Nobody really likes admitting defeat. So my thinking is, why do we have to admit defeat? Let's just keep pushing forward and victory will ultimately be ours. So again, I want you guys to know that if you've been walking with me for 45, 60 days, you're gonna start seeing some improvement on the scale. You've done the tough part. Now we got to see the results. So now is not the time to quit. Now is the time to step on the gas. What this 23-year-old rookie that got shot in the chest that lived shows me is that we're not guaranteed tomorrow, but we should still live the best life that we can. Because you want to know something? Maybe him doing those extra sprints at the end of practice. Maybe him staying extra and lifting in the weight room. Maybe that was that little bit extra he needed to fight off that gunman and survive and live. You follow me? And just like that happened for him, on the flip side, sometimes things are beyond our means. All those people that perished on that Mississippi bus that crashed, it was really beyond them. There was absolutely nothing they could do other than just get lucky when it came to who survived versus who got injured versus who walked away unscathed. So sometimes we're damned if we do, damned if we don't, but at the same time, we should still try to be our best so that whatever comes around the corner, we can hopefully handle, okay? And if you agree with me in that, let me know down in the comments, because I want to know that everyone's not shaking their head in disagreement with me. I firmly believe that whether it's somebody trying to shoot you, a bus that's toppling over in an accident, a family member that's trying to disassociate themselves from you, whatever the case might be, try to be at your best so that you can think clearly, so that you have the body that can get you out of a situation in a pinch. And those things happen when we constantly try to become better versions of ourselves. You know, you can't sit there and say, how am I going to survive a bus crash? Because the truth is, there's no way to survive things like that. But I have heard crazy stories of people being in such good physical shape that when the average person would have perished, they somehow, some way come away okay from accidents. You know, again, that's kind of the luck of the draw. But do you want to be that person that has the luck on their side by putting your best foot forward? Or do you want to be the person that just kind of takes whatever you get? Nothing wrong with either answer there. Woo, it's a little warm out here. It's funny how when that wind kicks down, all of a sudden it's not so comfy. But at least it's more quiet. Sometimes we wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and to be honest with you guys, lately I have been. But again, I was starting to think about it. This could end up being a beautiful thing. Because if you guys stick by my side while I'm having trouble, and if you know that I'm going to stick by your side when you're having troubles, then what's going to happen is in another year or two, when you've lost 25 or 30 pounds, and when I'm doing better than ever on my YouTube channel, we can look back at these times and say, remember how down we both got? Right? You can say, Jesse, remember you were hoping to get more viewers and I was hoping to lose those extra pounds? We stayed true and it happened for us. I want you guys to succeed so much. And I tell myself every single day that what I want is for people to tell me that they're motivated and they're losing weight. And you know what? The other day, somebody said that to me in the comments. I forget for not remembering their name off the top of my head, but they said, hey, I've been watching your show. It's the first time I've talked about it. I've been walking and you were right. It works. Guys, that feels like $1 million. You know, I want to make sure that I'm not the only one that enjoys walking. And Lily and Mala and Sean and Sherry Ann and all the others, I know you guys enjoy your walk too. I just want you to know that I'm so glad that it is something you enjoy, and I'm happy that you're grateful that it's in your life. That's how happy I am. Can you see that beautiful rainbow? Look how it lands on the little markers and stuff that are on top of the mountain. What are those? Those little beacons of light so planes don't run into the mountain? Look like it kind of looked like the rainbow finished right there at those light beacons or whatever they are. Oh, maybe that's for a reason. I want you guys to see me as a beacon of light. I want you guys to know that, hey, I might not be tripping or stressing out about my weight. I'm tripping and stressing out about how can I get more venters to walk with us. That's a good thing. I want you guys to know that you're not the only one struggling. And by the way, sometimes I even tell you when I'm struggling at work. These things happen. You know, sometimes people are just really good at their job, and sometimes we're really good at our job and then we find one that we're not so good in, and it can really make our confidence kind of dwindle. But if you stay true and you keep trying to get better, at least you're trying to improve. Now, if nothing ever happens and you get let go of your job, well, then you get let go. At least you can hold your head up high and know that you gave your best. You know, a lot of people talk nowadays about things like quiet quitting and quiet firing and this, that, and the other. My thinking is don't stress and worry about those things. Just do your best. If you're ever in a situation where your gut's telling you you better get your resume out there and find something new, listen to your gut. But at the same time, until your gut does do that to you, try your best. Try not to stress. I know it's easier said than done, but keep battling your way forward. Good things tend to happen for those that keep their nose to the grindstone and keep on working. And that's a true story. And remember, if things are stressing you out and you just kind of want to forget about it all, just take your paycheck every week and just get used to spending less than you make, and then you don't have to stress about it so much. I've told you this before, guys. I had a lot of buddies that were really good at keeping a checkbook and really good at keeping tabs on every dollar that came in and every dollar that went out. And then I had other buddies that all they did was, to keep it simple, they just tried to get used to spending less than they made. And I'll tell you what, those people were so much happier and they never had any money problems. So whether you're a guy or a girl, and whether you're rich or whether you're broke, I think we can all agree that if you can get used to spending less than you make, you're going to be a successful human being. And by the way, those rich people, I know a lot of times people can't stand them, but the reality is they really have some good habits that a lot of us could take advantage of. One of those habits is they really know how to invest in themselves, and they really know how to, know when to back off of spending money, and they really know when to hit the gas and spend that money and invest it properly. You and I, when we buy stuff that's not necessarily that important. Successful people tend to buy stuff that's going to help them buy more stuff when it really counts down the line. And a lot of you guys are a lot more successful than you think. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but they say the average person only has about $800 to their name. So if you have your own house or, your own mortgage, and you have your own car and you have more money coming in than going out, golly, you are a success. All you need to do is make sure that you keep spending less than you make. And put some goals down on paper.